I always brag that at Ewha we have the best students. Unfortunately, the foreign tigers could not have come to Ewha, so you're an exception. We forgive you.
It's okay. We're here now.
Yeah, we made it.
Even better.
Firstly, welcome to the show, Professor Hannah Jun.
Thank you for having me.
It is a pleasure to have you with us today.
And me.
Yeah, it's I've not been to Ewha except for like a small tour, so it's lovely to be back on the campus. I've never actually been in this building. You've recently moved in here, is that right?
Well, I've been in this building for a few years, well, several years, but it's been just a short time that I've been in this particular office. And so,
Oh, okay.
yes,
Cool.
welcome to the office.
Thank you.
Wow, thank you for
How are
having
you
us.
enjoying it?
It's very newly painted walls. Very, very nice decor.
And what were the walls before?
So it was very pasty white with dashings of dust, and so now it's very pristine and very beautiful. So it can host this wonderful podcast.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think I called it white, but you said it's
It was I believe it's a cream.
cream.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, upon closer inspection, that is
Indeed.
definitely a cream.
white, red,
Indeed.
blue, green, kind of as far as I go.
Exactly. There you
Cream,
go.
though, it's the
It's
other
cream.
essential color, right?
Cream.
Is it cream?
Yes.
Yes, that's what I've heard.
Firstly, the spring semester has just finished here in Korea, right? So how are you feeling?
I should be saying that I'm sad to see my students go, but
Should be.
I am. I love my students. So heartbroken that it'll be at least a few months or some time, or maybe even more until I see them again. But I'm very proud of all they achieved this semester, and I'm looking forward to my upcoming sabbatical and trying to get equipped for the next semester I'm with my students.
Oh. What's on the menu for sabbatical?
What's on the menu?
What is sabbatical? Can you
sabbatical? So it comes from the Latin.
No way.
I was fully ready for you to do that. I was like, sure. Latin lesson now.
As if there was, I'll know this for next time. No, but it's a great time for faculty, especially for faculty who are engaged in a lot of research, to take some time outside of typical university responsibilities to focus on research and building up our research portfolio. And I actually want to use the time to learn a bit more. There's just so much to learn now, not just aside from some languages I would like to dabble in, but of course AI, some other additional tools so that I can come back better equipped to bring that into the classroom.
Now, this is not being a professor here now. This is not your first time being at Ewha, right? Like, looking at your bio, it's a bit of a full circle journey, isn't it? Could you go into that story?
So once upon a time, I actually was a master's student here after graduating from undergrad. And after working in finance, getting married and starting a family, I thought that at least at that particular time, I would love to have a little bit of a change in terms of my career. I loved working in finance and equity research, but I also thought that I would like a bit more balance in terms of my work and also family. And so I reached out to some of my professors here at Ewha GSIS, and they encouraged me to pursue the PhD program. And I came in not thinking that I would ever go into academia, but I came in wanting to do some research in the area of kind of the intersection between finance and ethics. And so that became kind of the inspiration behind my PhD thesis. And even after graduation, I didn't have grand plans for academia, but I was very fortunate to have had some teaching opportunities along the way. I taught at Hanguk University of Foreign Studies at their business school for about 2 years. And then they were looking for a full-time faculty at Ewha GSIS. And so it really does feel like coming back home. And I'm so happy to be able to welcome you here.
I mean, you said in Ewha Voice, I initially thought I would work long-term in finance, but that changed after starting my PhD in Ewha GSIS. What led you to that change?
So I think what I enjoyed about finance was it was very fast-paced, very dynamic. I say this to my own students, but it sounds very arrogant, but it felt like I was in the middle of the market. You have so much information, so many great people around you, and so much uh, kind of what is it? You have so much access, I think, to a lot of resources and a lot of people, and so I really enjoyed that environment and honing my own area of expertise. When I came to academia, it was a very different pace. It was almost the exact opposite. You're really just sitting down, and you're afforded the time to do some critical thinking and to really delve into some areas that when you're on the job you just don't have the time or the leisure to think about. And so I think I enjoyed the change of pace and the idea that I'm not just doing what my clients are paying me to do, but that there are some areas of kind of intellectual inquiry that I could focus on that would be, interesting for me personally.
Right. That's so cool. I
Isn't
mean,
it though?
I guess that's what. Well, no, I do. I think that's one of the interesting things about a PhD is that you can kind of really zone in on something that really piques your interest, and then focus on that.
Right.
Um, from your uh, from the research that we've done, you're clearly beloved by your students. Um, Compliment, take it. You're clearly beloved by them. I mean, earlier today you were posting pictures with some of them at a restaurant, right? So, what do you think helps you connect with them so well, and why do you think that
Mm.
connection is important?
Well, I'm glad you think so, and I really enjoy spending time with students, and I don't know if this sounds like a paid promotion, but I was at Linus Barbecue.
Were you?
I'll
I
beep it out.
was,
I'm
I
joking.
was. It's the best Southern barbecue in Seoul, so please go there. Their sweet tea is great as well. But I think if I was just interested in doing research, then something like a research institution or a think tank, that would probably be a better use of my time. But one of the greatest privileges of working at a university is I get a lot of interaction with the students. And I don't know how much in depth I can go in with the podcast, but I did get some constructive feedback before when I was
Mm,
early in my career, and some of my mentors had told me, pretty openly that I need to do a good job of managing my time, especially when it came to research and making sure that I can secure research output. So they actually discouraged me from spending too
mm,
much time with students, and I think the rationale was not so much that they didn't like students. But I think that because we have such limited time,
Mm,
that it's very important that I make the most of that time and that I can have something tangible that the university can then kind of evaluate me on. And it's very hard to do that, I think, with student interaction. But I think I'm just trying to strike a balance between kind of mentorship and advisory as well as the research, because the research is meaningful in that it helps me in my interactions with my students, and also trying to bring some meaningful kind of curricular material as well as an understanding, hopefully, of the theory as well as of the practice. And so,
mm.
yeah.
at the end of our academic year, or end of semester, we had to do like evaluations of our professors.
Did you?
Is that a thing here? Because I assume students rate you quite highly.
You know, I'll be very honest. After a while, I stopped looking at my evaluations.
Mm,
And the reason is not because I don't care about student feedback. The reason is I think after the first few years, I think I took them very seriously and almost too seriously, to the point where psychologically it could affect you.
mm,
And it's kind of like even on social media. You can get 100 great comments or 100 likes, but the one kind of negative comment can kind of stay with you, even if it's a troll. I'm not saying my students are trolls,
mm.
but you can be affected by that. And I think if you have kind of genuine interactions with students along the way, they'll give you good feedback. They'll also give you constructive feedback as well. And so I think that's the feedback that I take with me. And anything aside from that, sometimes I think can also play with professors' minds as well. And so, yeah, I do hope that students do take those kind of evaluations seriously, and
Mm,
I'm sure that from the perspective of our department, that they'll probably take that into consideration. But I think the best feedback that I have got was through kind of one-on-one communications.
mm.
Did you rate your professors well? What did you?
We did. Yeah, we had to rate them. I'm not gonna tell you what I did.
Spill the beans.
Um, yeah, no, I thought when you mentioned about, like, the metric and, your mentors and colleagues telling you to manage your time well, like, I thought that maybe perhaps there wasn't enough prioritization of student feedback
Mm,
on professors, right? Like, the professor is makes or breaks a class.
right.
The learning materials can be amazing, but if the professor doesn't give you what you need or engage with the material in like a not in a lively way, but in like an engaged way, um, then the class can be quite dull. So I think
Right.
it's interesting that you mentioned that you don't read them uh, for the purpose of kind of staying true to your own professor character. I think that's quite interesting.
Yeah, I think and the point that you raise about, um, engagement during class and what students expect of professors, I think it's incredibly valid, and I would hope that universities would value the student classroom experience as much as they value, for example, research output.
Mm,
But for a lot of universities in Korea and even globally, because the incentive structures are so skewed towards research, and in some cases, research outputs are easier to measure than student feedback. I think a lot more weight is placed on the research aspect. Now, what I do think is the mentors that did say that they were in retrospect saying that with my interest at heart. And so I think they did that with a good heart, but I try not to think of it so much as zero sum that you have to do one or the other. If you only spend time as an independent researcher, say, devoid of all other responsibilities, and then the priorities of students come kind of way last. I don't know how well we can, in good faith, engage in our role
mm,
if that happens and consistently over time. But unfortunately, I think that in many cases it's still incentivized towards that. But for me, I think my conscience doesn't allow me to do that, and so I just try to stay healthy so I can do both at the same
mhm.
time.
Yeah, no, and something I'm thinking about because even though you're emphasizing connecting with students, you also do have the same constraints that all other professors have, which is this research output, right? So something I'm curious about is like how do you make a meaningful connection? Is that something that came naturally to you, like to going into teaching, and you're like, this is what I'm going to do, or is it something that unexpectedly emerged in your academic career?
I wonder. I might have to ask my students. Uh, I enjoy people. I enjoy being around people and getting to know them. And I think for most of the people I engage with, regardless of the different beliefs that you might have or different cultures or backgrounds, on a surface level, I think I can get along well with most people. Actually, I think most people can do that. But I think part of it is there is a human nature aspect. I enjoy being with people, but also especially at the graduate level, it's very hard to, I think, stay committed as a professor for the long term if I don't have those meaningful connections with my students. And if we need and we continue to want a steady stream of great students, the best ambassadors of our program have always been our current students. And so that's kind of been my focus. If our current students are happy and they're engaged and they're getting a lot out of the program, then that's the best marketing that we have. And so I don't want to say it's a selfish intention, but I think that there are a lot of different types of value that we can get from those genuine interactions. And I think it's, a lot of our students now are from overseas. And when I was a master's student, that wasn't the case. Most of the students, when GSISs in Korea first started, they were generally Korean or of Korean descent. Now it's almost in most GSIS programs, you have mainly foreign students. There you go, foreign tigers. Like,
Right.
what would we be? We would be like the foreign pear blossoms or something like that. That's what we would be, at Ewha. Not as fierce as tigers, but,
Right. Well, yeah,
beautiful
extremely
and,
fierce.
yes.
Yes. As you probably noted. We're not doing that. No.
Well, but I think for a lot of them, and I give a lot of credit to my husband as well,
Mm.
but when my husband went overseas for just a year overseas, he went to study in Canada when he was an undergrad student. He knew how hard it was to study overseas and to have no family and no real support group. And so when we have students who come all the way to Korea to study, he's first amazed. He thinks they're so brave and courageous because they're young women coming to a foreign country. Oftentimes they don't know anyone. And so at the very least, the professors that they meet with hopefully can establish a genuine connection and make Korea feel a little bit like home while they're here. But it's yeah, it isn't very hard.
Yeah.
Not all students, I think, want to get close to professors, but for the ones who do, I try to make myself available.
Well, let's then move on to the international student experience and go a little deeper into that. Obviously, it's something that Louie and I know about being very brave,
Ah, so brave,
such brave,
so courageous,
so courageous, coming all the way to Korea,
all the
this,
way.
strange foreign land to us. So what do you think makes Korea a great destination for international students looking to study abroad?
Well, I did a YouTube video early on, my very first YouTube video, I think, on my Tari TV channel. This is not a promotion,
You
but
can.
Tari TV, Tari.
Sorry, what is it? It's called?
It's got Tari TV. So
Tari,
Tari, so
like
you
bridge?
have a bridge, right?
Hmm.
Tari, it could be like some students asked if it was like leg, like a chicken leg, 닭다리. Um, however you
L-
want to interpret. Yeah, there.
right. Leg TV. Yeah.
But kind of a bridge between
Hmm.
our university and the world. And that really started right around the time of COVID. And the reason was before then you had students or potential students come to Korea and then they could kind of see the campus for themselves.
Hmm.
But during the time of COVID, when everything was shut down, there was no real opportunity to do that. And so I wanted to share what life was like in Korea as a student, why it was attractive as a destination. I kind of framed it within the GSIS program. So we have 4 functional majors. We have international business, international trade, international relations, and development cooperation. I'm pretty sure it's the same as
Similar.
the
Yeah,
tigers, right?
quite similar.
Yes, the pear blossoms and the tigers. But even within that, Korea is just a great dynamic place to learn about those 4 functional majors. And it's kind of like a living classroom as well. Development cooperation, we considered kind of as literally the flower of our department. We were one of the first GSIs in Korea to talk about development cooperation in earnest. But Korea's development experience is very unique. It's one of the only cases of a country starting from a net recipient of aid to becoming a net donor. And so, what were some of the things that led to that? And it's just a great place to learn about that as well. We also had a lot of interest when it came to K-pop, Hallyu, K-drama, K-food, K-culture, and so it kind of coincided at a time where there was growing kind of international interest in Korea. I think a lot of our programs, especially the GSISs, they did try to cater a lot to foreign students who were more comfortable in English, and so it's a unique environment to learn that. And also, we have the best professors, right? So, and we have. I always brag that at Ewha we have the best students. Unfortunately, the foreign tigers could not have come to Ewha, so you're an exception. We forgive you.
It's okay. We're here now.
Yeah, we made it.
Even better after graduation.
Yeah.
Hey.
I think we could take a class or two here, though.
You can. You're right.
Yeah.
Right.
The GSISs have an MOU, so you
Mm.
can take courses among other GSISs.
Yeah.
I don't know how many courses, like the limit that you have, but I think for us it may be something like 6 credits.
I was
and
on
so
an
2 courses.
accelerated pathway, so I was only here for a year, so I didn't.
1 year.
Well, it's 2 semesters, so I
You
didn't
did
get
it all.
I didn't get the chance to do that
How did you do that in 1 year?
with great difficulty.
Oh my goodness. So British.
Yeah, right.
Always frowning.
It worked. That's why.
Yeah.
It
He
worked
didn't
out.
sleep.
But the program was flexible in that it allowed you to
So I
graduate.
managed to transfer over four classes of credits from
Really?
my previous. Korea Day has an MOU with SOAS
I
University
see.
in
I
London.
see.
So I was meant to be able to transfer 5. That didn't work out, so I only transferred 4, so I had to do extra and thesis, and I'm a glutton for punishment, so I also took a PhD class
Oh
in my final
my.
semester as
While
well.
doing his thesis. I have no idea why.
I just don't like sleep, mate. That's all
Oh my
it is. I
Allergic.
just allergic to sleep.
Yeah,
That's
Allergic
who
what
to
it
sleep.
likes
is.
sleep?
Well, let's talk about this. So, adapting to life here can be pretty tricky, and some believe that technologies like real-time live translation in classrooms can help make that better and improve people's time. What are your thoughts on that?
So I've seen cases where it can, especially um, if the classrooms are equipped to be able to deal with that. And I'm sure that a lot of departments will try to use it at least in the interim. So in the short term. So if you have maybe huge language disparity, but you do want some sort of forum or a platform which you can try to get on the same page and get to know one another better. I still think that in the end, it'll really just be human interaction, so human to human, and I think we would be aided by our own abilities to be able to communicate as best as possible. If it can help facilitate that or accelerate that, I'm very much in favor of it. But I think I guess I'm too old school. I'm very analog, but I think humans are also very understanding and that they don't demand perfection, especially if it's from a foreign language that you're not accustomed to.
Mm.
Just making the effort, I think, goes a long way, and I think gestures help as well. So,
Yeah,
they
no,
really do.
I agree with you. I think it comes down to the implementation of these things, right? Like if it ends up being the only student that can't speak Korean sat in the corner with a monitor
Yeah.
with watching live translation instead of engaging in the material, then that perhaps is not the best
Yeah.
implementation of that
And
technology.
they're not gonna notice the gestures either.
They're not
Yes.
gonna notice the
What's
Because
the
you
best
gestures.
can't
one
see.
per class?
What do you mean?
What's the best gesture?
That? Like just in the middle of a
There you
lecture,
go,
there's
absolutely.
you've
You
got to
know,
throw
I
it in
I
to see
do
if
I do do this. I
Oh.
do this or sometimes I do this.
oh,
What is the context for
I just
to see if they're
just
paying attention. Just
no.
throw a heart. Just be like, "Did you see it?"
Maybe I should do that. I
Hmm.
I I should tell them during the lecture, I'm going to throw some hearts, and you have to guess the correct number.
That's a
Otherwise, it
great
means you
idea.
weren't paying attention.
It's kind of like that
Nice.
Yeah.
video where it says, "Did you spot the white elephant in the background?" And it's got like people dancing in the middle. Have you ever seen those?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That was like classic internet before it got
Classic.
so weird.
I was making
Classic.
references I didn't know. So, I don't know. What?
Wait,
What?
this is not a Korean university thing, right? They don't.
No,
No,
I
it is.
Yes.
yeah.
I mean, it's cryy eyes, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
crying
I don't think
eyes.
people do we do that? Do you do that?
No.
No,
No.
you just
They just
I guess it
grit it and just
they
depends
do.
on the
Yeah.
on the context.
See.
well,
I can't imagine a scenario where I would.
yeah. Oh no. Oh
Maybe through like the
no.
window as like
Yeah.
someone drives away like longingly, like. I think
Right.
I think if I did that to someone, they'd think I was being mean, like taking the Mickey.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ah, yes, that's true. You have that. I was gonna
I've
say.
been told that Korean humor and English humor is quite similar.
Is this even topical? Korean humor. What is it?
What? You, you have to first understand the 아재 개그.
Mhm.
So it's actually quite. I love 아재 개그. You know what I'm talking about? The 아저씨 humor.
Mm.
It's just a series of puns, but it's funny. But you pretend like it's not funny, but everyone's laughing inside. They really are. They're taking
Repressed
notes.
laughing.
That
They're
is
taking mental
so
notes. They're like,
yeah.
oh, I have to use that next time.
That does
It's
sound
like-
British. You can't laugh, right? You can't show it. But inside you're like tickled, right?
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
See, I just let it out. That's what it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, I think the next question is probably good for you.
This one, yeah, it is actually very distinct. Well, I no, no, I wanted to have something before I jump into this question because we're talking about technology and that which is such a huge change always in society. But just scaling it back to these human technology, just humanity. What are just the changes you've noticed with students? Have you seen any trends in the classroom or with the student body itself in your time here?
That's a tough question.
Sorry.
because no, it's a great question, but it's tough because it depends on the class,
Mhm.
especially between, say, graduate school and undergraduate. I think I do see a little bit of a difference in approaches to graduate versus undergraduate. It might be a generational thing, could be a cultural thing. I think what I have felt a little bit more with especially undergraduate students, younger students in general, it's becoming a little bit more difficult to read students. So
Mm,
trying to read their expressions. I think for older students, they do understand the benefit of nodding along or making
mm,
eye contact and trying to engage non-verbally, also verbally during class. It's a bit tougher, I think, with younger students. Maybe they're not as used to providing those kind of cues. Right, they might be more used to screen time. Exactly. It's I think it's a different kind of interface, but I'm trying.
That's
I'm
all we can
trying.
do, right?
I don't know. Yes, yes. And I think, but as when you speak to them one on one, I think it's fine. When you speak
mm,
to students one on one and you get to know them and they're kind of taken more out of their shell, it's a little bit better. But
mm.
I'm kind of big on cues and trying to see if there's something behind the eyes that are going on.
Yeah. Now I'm self-conscious about my
No, no.
expressions.
But there's actually a reason
Yeah,
that
yeah.
we're not like umming and ahhing. Like, so
I
like
am.
it gets really
I
yeah,
can't help
a
it.
little bit, but so am I. So like if, in the edit of the podcast, it gets really hard to quiet those down. So like normally we would tell the guest, hey, we're gonna sit there and just nod and like not go, hmm. And yeah, I'm gonna leave this in so people know how podcasts work.
That's great.
Um, but yeah, no, it's yeah, it feels awkward to like do that sometimes. You just kind of sat there and you want to go, right, like you know, like you,
Hmm.
but you
What's
can't,
the point?
you
Yeah.
can't. Yeah, that's so interesting. Like
Yeah.
you have to be like "Mm,"
Mm.
Mhm.
internally. Yeah,
So maybe in a good way, maybe they're just it's being economical with their expressions.
maybe.
Yeah.
Right. But it's I don't know. I always find it very helpful from a teaching perspective, just to see if they understand what's going on, if I need to slow down, if I'm on topic or and if they are following along. I think it's always just
Yeah.
really helpful.
I mean, I've experienced teaching English in Korea. That's
Yes, yes.
how I first came here. And the most difficult class is not the most rambunctious, high energy class. It is the class that
Doesn't engage.
yeah, just sits there and stares at you. And then you get really concerned and you start like a little anxious voice in your head is like, did they just like hate you? Do they not understand? Like what am I doing wrong? And then that's I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but that is something I've experienced.
The no reaction is the hardest reaction.
Yeah.
Because if they're sleepy, you can tell, oh, they're tired. So they're not listening to me anyways.
Yeah.
But and it's hard to be also a mind reader. And I think that outside of the classroom, that's one of the challenges is that you want to be present and there for your students. But because I think the basic assumption is we think everyone's doing okay
Mm,
unless they tell us. And I think I try to make it a point of trying to reach out first because I think that some students are reluctant to reach out, especially if it's not, for example, good news or if it's not something they're very happy to share. Um, Even among Korean students, they have a Korean expression, 좋은 일 있으면 뭐 연락드리겠습니다. So they'll
mm,
let us know when something nice happens. So
mhm,
maybe they get an internship or they get a job or a promotion. So they're used to sharing good news. So
mm,
for Korean students, and
mm,
they don't want to share bad news or maybe even no news. But I do make it a point of sharing with my students, especially Korean students, that I'm happy when you don't have any news. Just keep in touch so that you're in my radar. And especially if there's bad news or anything I can help with, please let me know because I think for students, I think they would find feedback and just even words of encouragement more helpful when they're in a tough spot than if they have great news to share. And so yeah, I just want some feedback, even a nod.
right.
Even in cacao rooms, they would read it, and sometimes they don't even do like the check
Oh,
or the thumbs up. When I see thumbs ups, I'm so
oh,
happy.
yeah.
I'm like, "They read it
Right.
and they
Guys, are you
responded."
listening?
Is it Please.
Please.
Hearts, thumbs ups, checks.
Hmm.
They're all welcome.
Hmm. All right. Well, that no, just kidding. No, no. No, so no, it's actually it makes me think. So is this like a Korean oh my god, I don't wanna say this.
No,
Is this no,
no.
is this like, do you think just an issue with students generally, or you think it's about is it a culture thing? What do you what's your prognosis?
I'm sure that there might be different cultural elements,
Mhm.
but what I noticed for my students in general is and maybe you could share your experience at Korea University. I try to make my office door open as much as
Mm.
possible. I remind them that I have office hours, and if our office hours don't match, I'm happy to accommodate another time. But I don't know, maybe they're just doing so well on their own, but sometimes I find that, they don't reach out. And maybe it's because 'cause I'm too scary and
Yeah.
and they're too
Mm.
intimidated, or maybe they're just so busy, and I completely understand that. But I hope that the students know that we're available for them and that they can reach out and that everyone has the same opportunity to reach out, but, not everyone takes that opportunity, and so that's where I think the
Mm.
results might differ.
And, like, overall with your students, do you find that they are enjoying their time studying here, though?
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
cool. Okay. And
Absolutely.
do they stay after graduating? Like, do you what happens, like, after they finish up?
So it'll depend on the student, but in general, most of my students want to stay in Korea, at least in the short to midterm. They want to maybe start their careers here. I've had some students who want to continue their studies here, so maybe they do their master's, but then they want to do their PhD as well.
The article that we mentioned earlier in Ewha Voice mentions that you believe while students should be mindful of approaching faculty, that too many are overly cautious and end up missing opportunities to connect. And whilst we're talking about connection, I wanted to give you the opportunity to give some advice to students who are hoping to connect professionally but might not be equipped to do that or feel confident doing that.
Mm, right. It's such an important point. I think, especially for graduate school, that's really where you have a lot of one-on-one time with professors, faculty. I understand at the undergraduate level, maybe classes are like 50 students, 100 students. And I think at Korean universities, your academic advisor changes every year. And so the downside could be you don't really get a deep connection with any one professor. On the positive side, you could have an in with many different professors. And so that could be seen as an opportunity. But I think the best way to kind of warm up a professor is do great in class, and that means come prepared, look like you want to be there. We notice those things, as dense as we might be, and as dense as we might seem. Those are little things that we do notice, and so if you have a great attitude and you come prepared for class, we are oftentimes you might actually find professors reach out to students first.
Mm.
I think if you don't take classes with a certain professor, but you do want to get to know him or her, nothing hurts in visiting office hours or just dropping by, sending an email and, trying to make that connection. I also encourage if they don't respond to the first email, follow up. It could just be that there were just so many things going on that they weren't able to respond to the first. Show a genuine interest and be specific, but I think, yeah, if something doesn't happen the first time, it doesn't mean that that's it, that you should, keep
Mm.
Keep at it. I think being persistent.
Right. Yeah, I think there's lots of people, from my experience, seemed kind of tentative to approach their professors for anything beyond being in the room and this is my assignment. And coming from the UK where you're kind of encouraged to talk to your professors a bit more, you're not friends. Obviously, there's professional relationship there, but I found that quite difficult to adjust to. It wasn't that I didn't have the right level of respect. It was more that I saw that as part of their job,
Mhm.
like to engage with me.
Mm.
Um, and I think, I was really lucky at Koryode, like the experience was good and the professors were willing to talk to me, to kind of what I was already used to. So I'm not saying it was bad. It was just the fear in like some of the colleagues, student colleagues that were like, "Oh, can I email them?" I was like, "Yeah, of course you can." Why not? Like, they have an email address. They wouldn't tell you what it is. Yeah, they wouldn't tell you what it is if they didn't want you to use it. You know?
I think if we look at it in a positive light, it might be, I don't know, they're very reverent,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
they're mindful of their time,
Mm.
and they kind of view their contact, or their, reaching out, as almost, I don't wanna say a bother, but it might be, they might think of it as a burden.
That's exactly what they think.
Mm.
Yeah, because I would think the office hours, like, I've always, I've been in several positions where I've had to keep those. And, like, office hours are probably, like, top of the unapproachable list. It's like, I'm gonna turn up outside your office at the time that you designated and just randomly walk in and expect you to talk to me about anything. Like, that seems, like, quite high on the, level of confidence required. But sending an email, like, it can sit in the inbox, you might never get a reply. They might not even see it, so you might as well just send it. Um, yeah, I think it's
Are are students at Korea University encouraged, though, to go to office hours? I mean, they do advertise
yeah,
office hours, and
I mean, there's not like a flyer that says like, "Hey,
yeah, I mean,
come on in."
it's probably similar
Yeah.
to you. Like, at the beginning of the semester, this is my contact,
Mm,
these are
mhm,
my
mhm.
office hours, like, feel free, like, and just, you know, it's part of, I think that's part of the role of a
Mm,
professor.
mhm,
Like,
mhm.
we spoke about this earlier, the research is part of it, but being there for the students, that's part of the role.
Oh, yeah.
And you were getting very close to, like, saying, talking about your, like, pastoral responsibility of, like, students, right? Like, is this student okay? Like, outside of academia, is that student responding or looking healthy? Like, that level of care is something that I personally would love to see, in a professor that taught me, like, someone that cared about the students in the room.
Right.
Mm.
What I found, and I'm so glad that you interpret my approaches to be like that. And I try to think of myself as, it's not necessarily part of the job description. I know that some professors don't want to be considered like parents.
Mhm.
They're adults, but I think, especially for students who are coming from so far away, for me, and I we talked about Instagram for a little bit. The ones who follow me, initially, I think, are students and or prospective students. But I realized through my interactions, it's not just the students, but I have quite a few parents of students
Mm.
who follow me as well. And I saw that for some students, if they don't post regularly, their parents actually look at my Instagram to see if
Mm.
their daughter is there, to see if she's being well fed. And I'm like, okay, she's looking quite healthy and quite chubby these days. She's doing fine.
Too much
Exactly.
KBBQ, that's what it is.
My fault. My
Mm.
fault. It's like,
It's too good.
Yeah.
But I think I applaud you for that, because that goes somewhat beyond your mandate, but it's an important part of, you're probably the person or one of the people that student, regardless of whether they're international or domestic, right? You're one of the people they see most often. So you're probably best placed to see an issue before it arises, or at the time it can be solved. It's so important. I mean, without going into all of the details, like, there were so many instances in my undergraduate uh, experience that it got missed in large lecture sizes, too many students in one room, lecturer obviously being too busy, um, to give that, not level of care, like, care is probably too strong, like you said, fine line between parent and professor, but, that level of attention that perhaps something could have been intervened. I mean, I'm sure EY is probably, the word retention comes up all the time, right? Yeah, so, having some experience of how universities work, retention is, like, number one. Like, how do we retain students who come here?
right.
And that's a big part of it, right? Like, if you think that your professor cares about you, even if it's just, "How you doing? How was that?"
Exactly.
Then that sometimes is enough. I
Yeah.
really applaud you for doing that.
Thank you. And if you have any ideas how we can encourage students to not be so shy or not be so timid about reaching out to professors, please let me know.
I'm probably not the
What
best person
Mm.
for that. My
because you would
levels
reach
of
out
Well,
anyway.
yeah,
You would
I
say,
sensitivities.
know.
"What?" Okay, you know what? A few years ago, well, many years ago when I was a master's student, we actually had happy hour.
Mm,
And so they would provide snacks, and it would be, I think maybe one Friday a month, and whoever had time could come out. And so it was just a natural place for professors and students to come out, even if they weren't your advisor or even if you weren't taking their classes.
mhm,
And so I don't know if that would be something that students would be interested in going to,
right.
but I'm just trying to think of,
Yeah.
other than us
Yeah.
saying, please come to office
Right.
Yeah.
I
hours.
think,
Yeah.
like, in this kind of, this relationship where someone has like, you have the authority in it, right? And you're the one who's, like, mentoring, guiding them. Like, whenever there's a type of relationship, it is incumbent on the person who has authority in it to open the door and say, like, it's okay, and to show up first,
Mm.
put that offer first. Because, yeah, I think, when you were talking about this earlier, I'm just guessing here, but I do wonder how COVID affected students. The cohort of students coming in now, a lot of them, I think, are ones who spent some of their time with just a pure online experience, right? And so the door could be open, but unless it's very clearly made to them, they might never even realize it.
Mm, mhm. Wonder what I can do, because I already have very tasty snacks in my office to entice students
Mhm.
to come in.
Make a trail of snacks
Should
from
I?
the class
Very
to the
Hansel and
office.
Gretel, I can do that. Wait, but doesn't that lead
Now
them?
you're here.
Yeah, it's like, they're trapped.
Right? Oh, maybe not that. That's not the best idea.
I don't know. I
Well,
think it's just ask them what they want.
but
Mm,
you are
mhm.
doing, like, interesting things with Instagram and online, right? You are reaching people where they are, and where we are a lot of the times these days is online.
Yeah.
But
I
talk about
try.
that. What's
I
going
try.
on there?
That was the reason I
Mhm,
started Instagram. It was
mm,
at the suggestion of a student at the time, and I had just started teaching full time at Ewha at GSIS, and I wanted to make sure that we had a steady stream of great, bright students who would come and study at our program. Now, compared to some of the other universities in Korea, especially from a foreign applicant's perspective, I do know that in terms of the name Ewha, it's less recognized than some of the other universities. And so at the time, they were working hard to build our department's website, which was great. I also knew that a website is the last place people go right before they apply. And so they already have to have known about the program, and they're already sure that they're going to apply before coming to the website. And
mm,
so, in terms of kind of PR and marketing, I felt that that wasn't kind of the only thing that we could be doing. And so I was talking with a few of my students, and they said, you know what? We have to do Instagram. Or she suggested that I start Instagram, and that because it was free, I had no budget, no official mandate. So what do? You try to find free platforms, and I still think it's the case, but especially then, if there was no hashtag, if there was no digital presence, online presence, it was as if you didn't exist at all. And
mm,
so that's when I started to this foray into social media, knowing nothing in the beginning, not thinking that anyone would follow. I was posting pictures of iced mocha and being so philosophical. The taste of sweetness in the morning. But I would also show our campus. We have a beautiful campus.
mm,
I'm very biased, but the best students, great faculty, the best curriculum. And I was doing a lot of kind of promotion. It kind of overlapped a little bit with my YouTube contents as well,
mm.
so that there was a bit of kind of crossover, I think, from both platforms. But yeah, I think, was it last year? So I reached over 10,000 followers, and so even that was quite surreal. That there was sometimes my husband, because he doesn't do Instagram at all. Sometimes he looks at my content and asks, in the nicest way possible, "People actually look at this?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yes, they do. Don't disrespect the content."
That's
I'm still
funny.
learning though, and my students are my best teachers,
Mm,
and what resonates with the students.
Okay, so if it's all right, Hannah, we're coming to the end, but I want to do some quick fire questions to
Let me
help
get ready.
all of us
I'll get ready.
get to know you a bit better. So some are serious, some are not so serious. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay, good. Favorite smell?
If it's a food smell, I would say maybe apple crumble.
Mm.
Make a
Mm.
pretty good apple crumble. It's easier than
You
apple
said that
pie.
just because I'm English.
Oh,
Like, now I want
I
to go
love
home.
apple crumble. It's the best.
Apple crumble's great.
Apple, that's wonderful.
Mm. I'm thinking of childhood now. Oh.
Oh,
All right. Okay. No more reminiscing. Your hidden gem in Seoul. Maybe a place that people don't really think about or talk about often, but you absolutely love it.
hidden gem in Seoul. I wasn't ready for this one. I shouldn't think about it too hard, right?
No.
No. Are you familiar with Countdown? The like English TV show?
No, no,
No?
no.
Okay. There's a tune they play for 30 seconds.
Oh
I'm
dear.
gonna put it in.
Are you really?
Yeah,
Is
just for fun.
that's about. You could put buffering.
Yeah.
We'll do the social media things.
Hidden gem in Seoul.
You
Maybe a favorite
you can take
place.
your time. It's
Favorite
fine.
place?
Yeah, yeah, like a
I,
secret place for you.
a secret place just for me. If it's just for me, I can't share.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
Everyone will
Good
go.
dodge.
Everyone will go
Yeah.
there. That's funny.
Everyone's clicking off at this moment. Everyone's like, unfollow. What is wrong with this
Oh, we're
person?
just gonna like tightly crop it around your face so everyone can see how awkward this is. No,
Hidden gem in Seoul. Hidden gem. Because I think a lot of my favorite places, if anyone follows me on Instagram, they'll already know. But
Oh.
if it's a place I just go for instant healing, I have this is not product placement or promotion, but I have a favorite sushi omakase place near Seocho Station. It's called Sushi Sora. And my chef there, he's just fantastic, and so it's my comfort food. I've taken several of my students there, and it's just a great place. Instantly happy.
Okay.
Okay.
Most used app on your phone.
Instagram.
Something you never compromise on.
Family time. Family time.
Best piece of advice you've ever received.
I said it before, though you didn't agree with me. Progress, not perfection.
I think I do agree with you. I'll change my mind, but I have a different one. It's slow down, never stop.
Oh, that's a good
Ooh.
one. That's
Like, if you're doing press ups and you just want to
God.
keep going,
oh,
just
You
slow
have
down.
like all these nice pithy quotes and sayings. It's incredible.
You're impressed that I just pulled that?
I am
like,
so
That was
literally out of my head.
impressed. Wow.
But that's great. Yes, I think I have to learn how to relax sometimes.
Yeah, but that's just, everyone needs to. But that's so true. Like, everyone needs to learn how to relax in their own way, right? We all get stressed about different things.
Me too.
Yeah.
Stressed about being British and
Yeah. Doing podcasts and
Yeah, it gets stressful.
it's hard
Yeah.
being a tiger all the time, eh?
It is.
Yes.
Sometimes I just want to be a cub. Tiger
Or a
cub.
pear blossom.
Just
Yeah.
curl up.
Pear blossom. Best existence.
Pear blossom bud.
Blossom.
Yeah.
Would
I
it
easier.
suppose. Yeah,
Would it
we
be a
start
bud?
off as a bud and then we blossom.
Pear blossom
Yes.
bud
Yes, there you go.
before
Okay.
blooming.
Yes.
All right,
I'm
guys.
sorry.
Sorry.
Serious questions.
Could think about this all day.
Originally, it was going to be kimchi jjigae or K BBQ, but you mentioned Linus. You mentioned Bama barbecue, so
Yes.
I'm going to change it. Bama barbecue, Alabama barbecue, or just like American barbecue or Korean barbecue.
That's not an apples to apples comparison, is it? Come on.
Louis said this.
They
to
both
me.
got BBQ in their name.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's a misnomer.
Fine.
Well, the original
Kimchi
question
jjigae
is
or Korean barbecue.
Kimchi jjigae or K barbecue, but they go so well together too. It's like you have
That's
the
true.
barbecue and
That's
then you
what
have the
I
kimchi
said.
jjigae after.
That's true.
It's like it's not an either or. It's an and, right? It's
If your appetite is big enough.
Yeah.
but it has to. It's part of the course. It's part of the package
Okay, so both is your answer.
It's both.
No picking.
Yes.
Both. Okay.
together.
Fair answer.
Yes.
I think I like kimchi jjigae on its own.
Uh-huh.
But I have done the K barbecue with a side of kimchi jjigae, and by the time it actually arrives in the hot stone pot, I've usually filled up on meat already. So I think that's probably why
Understood.
I'm just a glutton. K-barbecue is amazing.
Do you have a favorite type? Like, maybe
Like a meat?
yes,
Oh,
yes.
just, yeah, Sam Gibb sound,
Very nice.
normal cut.
Yes. You're more pork as opposed to beef?
Pork
Prefer?
pork's the go-to. I
Nice,
think it's
nice.
I don't know, it suits the style well.
Mm.
And I like to do it as often as I can outside.
Outside, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, not,
Better ventilation.
or more just like because if you're doing outside, sometimes it's on coals or wood fire, and campfire is my thing. Okay, so
Like a
He knows
tiger.
his stuff.
It's
so this is the easiest one of them all.
easiest.
Yeah, totally the easiest. What's the meaning of your life?
Very easy. So, I'm a person of faith. So I'm here just for a moment, but hopefully, to be used for eternal purposes.
Mm.
So I would like to leave uh, a nice legacy, even if I'm not the star of the show.
It's a lovely answer. I think you're well on your way. Well,
Thanks to the
it's
thanks to the burger that I had earlier. It has given me the energy.
the food calorific intake to get you through this interview. So, well, thank you so much for joining us. Unfortunately, we're at the end. It's been a real pleasure. We've touched on things that I didn't think we'd get to, but that was really interesting.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. It is amazing to meet and to have this interesting conversation with you. So thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for coming to our cream-colored office. And I look forward to hosting you again very soon. Thank you so much.